Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I want to thank them. And also, I want you to find Circuit World of Blue Ridge Facebook page. There's going to be on there in just a couple hours. There'll be a contest. You have to like the page and share the contest. Wait to see the contest. Go ahead and like the page. Circuit World of Blue Ridge. There'll be a contest. You will have a choice. The winner will have a choice between this Xbox or that 43-inch TV right there. So we're just telling everybody, and we're going to announce next Friday the winner of the contest. So Circuit World of Blue Ridge Facebook page, and watch for the contest. You'll have to share it to be eligible to win.
How's the winner picked?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Ah.
This is my cousin. This is
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo has always worked.
That's right. If it's not one potato, two potato.
No.
Four.
We could come up with Inkadink. Okay, listen.
Off the tracks again.
We went from eeny, meeny, miny, mo, one potato, two potato, Inkadink. Hey, would you happen to know out there that Republican, is it Congressman Burr, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, that there's a lot going on with the Clinton Foundation of commingling funds, Bill and Hillary just doing what they want, Hillary, actually pages of evidence of Hillary with a quid pro quo. Would you know that? Would you know that the whistleblower, would you know that the IRS says, hey, these financial statements from the Clinton Foundation, we may have a problem there? Would you know any? Would
you
know
tell us some more about that?
A lot of people knew it in 2016.
Yes.
Hello.
But it was pushed under because of the Trump collusion.
A lot of people knew it before 16.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people.
But would you know that that's going to be next week? There's going to be.
Not if you listen to
the
CNN.
DOJ
of those.
CNN was sitting there trying to figure out what is Trump thinking about how my funeral is going to be. You know, they spent a whole segment on
say something about the Apostles' Creed.
Yeah. It's.
Okay.
No, you wouldn't.
There's three things. Go ahead.
Things may really start breaking. They say the whistleblowers have 6,000 pages.
Yes.
Concrete
evidence.
Concrete evidence, which has been around for a while. And timing is everything. Everyone's getting a little nervous because of the House switches. And they were asking Nunes last night, well, if the House switches before this gets out, can you still get it over to the Senate? But now we think it's in the hands of the DOJ, and that's where it needs to be.
It's frightening. I don't know. They're so corrupt.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. You just flipped the hands over to the DOJ, and I'm hearing the guy that Trump wants to bring into the DOJ.
Appointed by you.
I hear you. So I'm a little concerned. But that being said, would you know that was taking place by the media?
No.
There's actually real evidence.
Right.
Do you realize how much time the media spends on something they don't know? So on this hand, we have all this evidence. We have pages of evidence, okay? We have proof. But they are assembling around these big fancy studios a group of people trying to describe what they don't know that's been redacted.
Oh, yes, they had the letters. You know, that looks like Merry Christmas there that they'd marked out. And they're like, that's 5 letters. And yes.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
They have full teams trying to figure out what Mueller redacted and all Mueller has done, okay, is redacted an area that has implications in something he's still looking into. And that's that simple, because you can't, and ongoing, as simple as this, even with our little organization, I have learned through GBI, the district attorney, and others in the state, that things I've worked on of what they have to redact and what they can't release based on is still hinging on some things they're looking at. And it don't matter how simple it is, and that's all Mueller has done, is taken out a part of something.
How do you know that?
Huh?
Because he does his homework.
No, that's all they, because I'm not.
That's all that Mueller's redacted.
That's my opinion, is all he's redacted, but I'm going to tell you that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit down with a panel of experts to break down. What I'm saying is they'll spend that much time on something unknown and not a minute on something they do know.
Yeah. And then the FBI comes in and does a raid on one of the whistleblowers to get his copies of the same thing he's already given them copies of. Why is that? Why is this is a terroristic kind of thing that they're becoming. It's like they're brown shirts all of a sudden, breaking your door down in the middle of the night.
Ooh, brown shirts.
Yeah.
But, well, it is. You know, the checker game that's going on, according to some, is that Loretta Lynch has come over. She's spilled the beans. And she has.
All right, so Comey's there today. Let's let people know. Comey is on.
Comey's there today.
Closed door session.
Comey wanted to go public. You know why? Oh, I can't talk about this. I can't comment on that.
That's exactly it. So it's confidential.
They do not want to let him. I mean, he does not want to have to say things that he can get off saying is secret. So Comey wanted to go after Lynch, so he would know what she said, so he wouldn't perjure himself. And Lynch's testimony would have leaked anyway. He would have known everything she said by whomever. But they really were doing this, maneuvering to get Comey to go after Lynch. But the good guys...
Do we know when Lynch is going?
In a couple of weeks, I think. Maybe next week at this point.
But we are, before the end of the year, the House is going to hear from Comey,
and
which is today.
Hoover's huge.
Hoover, right.
He was supposed to be...
Right.
Yesterday or the day before.
And Lynch, right?
And Lynch.
Okay. And our hope, I guess I could say, is the only thing our hope could be is after that, it gets sent over to the Senate and the DOJ and they handle it, because I will tell you this. At the end of the year, everything we have picked up on the House is cold case file.
That's right. It's all over.
Everything.
It's just like Pelosi said, that they said, would you consider funding the wall if they brought forth a good DACA
Fencing. She'll fund
she said
fencing.
They're two separate issues, and no. And that was the reason why, because they're two separate issues. Now, when they were trying to get the DACA in order to give him any fencing, and he's like, okay, or wall, whatever you want to call it, I'll give it to him. No, we don't want it. So it's not an issue to them. The only thing that's an issue to them is whatever he's done, seeing his tax returns, want to know how he combs his hair in the morning, if he uses gel or spray.
No, they want to create
BS,
conflict.
As you said.
They don't care what kind of conflict.
It doesn't matter as long as
they're this side, that side, just conflict.
Because there's 2 years left till the presidential.
They have their message points, and that's all they're going to pound on for the next 2 years. So we said this before the election.
I asked you this. I asked you this, and I always come back to you for this. You.
How do you say your name? No.
I asked you this, I come back to you. Remember at Sycamore Crossing, I looked at you and said, the tariffs. Will the American people take the pain that we may have to endure for what we need to do, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you and I talked, I don't know who said what.
It's absolutely true.
It's like my grandma used to say, I don't know who shot John. That's what I don't know. I never knew why John got shot. My grandma said, I don't care who shot John. He's like, okay.
John shot.
Yeah, he shot. Okay. So the bottom line is, do you think the American people are still supporting the president, or the work that the media is doing trying to portray to people on a day-to-day basis that this is a disaster, the stock market's going down, all of this stuff? What say you where that's concerned?
I'm hopeful they will, because I think, with the 90-day thing now with China, that a lot is going on, and it's going to happen in 90 days, good, bad, or indifferent. It'll be interesting to see how the new revised USMCA replacing NAFTA, rolls out and happens.
If it gets ratified, that's the thing.
Yeah, that will be very interesting to watch. So, you can envision the Democrats and the media just, trying to string that all out and make it longer and saying, oh, the poor soybean farmers are just taking a beating. Well, there's going to be some pain, and I'm hopeful the American public will have the endurance to get to the end of this.
Me too,
because they're not used to pain,
Well, we've had pain for the last 20 years or more, because they are taking our money out of our out of our pockets.
China, you know,
China,
was
yes.
you know, 35 years ago. I mean, when I was in China for the very first time, I mean, the big thing was you got to get into China. You have to get access to that 1.2 billion people. You know, they're the biggest market in the world, and you know they're going to buy stuff. So you got to be there.
They're going to sell us cheap stuff, and they're going to charge us for our good stuff.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what has happened.
And there's still no rule of law. I mean, for an American investor in China, I mean, you know, you're at the back of the queue.
And they have absolutely no respect for patents or intellectual property rights or any of that stuff.
And a lot of the big companies are all linked to the People's Liberation Army. They're all Army linked.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I hope the American people have the endurance to get to it, because if we don't address it now,
it's never going to get
you know,
done.
they're going to have their thumb in our eye in 15 years.
And the media is trying to end our support or create a problem that I don't think is there. I think the problem that is there is with China, is with the trade. It's with all the trade deals that we've done, and we really need to just stand firm.
Yes.
And if we don't do it now,
We're done.
We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask y'all: Do you believe, in the long run, that either China or Russia want to actually invade our country, set up house here, live here?
They've already done that.
No, I don't.
What do they want to do? I like the question.
Well,
I know what you're trying to say.
They're buying buildings.
Bruce,
I mean,
what do you say to
actually,
that?
I think they want to control the world, but I don't think they necessarily want to invade and occupy and all that. I think
this. You don't think
I
they
think
want to
just
come
through
over and go, like,
just through the extension of their power, you know, in the South China
Unbeknownst,
Sea.
we're living under it now.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
They've
could say-
already
So what you're
done
saying
that.
is
Economically,
they want to invade and fly their
I don't
flag.
mean buy all our country.
No, no.
I mean
They
actually
wanna
set
live here,
themselves
though.
up. Do they want to set themselves up? And
Do you know
have,
how much real estate has been bought by
Yes,
Chinese?
I do.
I mean, and
but
if
they
you
don't
go
live
look at-
here. That's
Yeah,
not my
but
question.
that's the wealthy Chinese who don't want to live under a communist system. That's
That's
why
right.
they come here. They love
we
it.
will now. I mean, oh gosh.
Will we ever be doing this and having red flags on our buildings? That's what I'm
It's like my
asking.
friend. It's
No.
like my friend always says. There's no caution light from here to the exit ramp with me. So I don't think they set up or Russia sets up. I think we have been set up within to create a civil war amongst us, and then we will create a new government that resembles China's government.
That is possibly true.
Because here's the thing, China doesn't have, they call him President Xi. China doesn't have elections like we do. China doesn't have democracy. They have things that resemble, but they have ultimate controls. Okay.
Yeah, state.
They control the free election.
And there is a thought that that's working. See, China's not socialism. China's not 100% communism. They've created something that the world actually sees as working. Okay.
They don't live there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. But the world sees as working,
Because
and they have
it's
the ultimate control. I think that every American. But let's move on. But I want to say, if you want to elaborate, go ahead. Every American is against somebody. Sadly to say, whether it's social issues, political issues. Every American today in the United States has a foe. Period. It's sad, but we do. No matter what it is. Okay? It's going to escalate. It's not going to get better.
It's not going gently into the night.
Nope. It's going to escalate, okay? I do think it's being created on purpose. There's groups that are
Getting with it.
it's created on purpose, and we're going to have civil war, bottom line.
Yeah, it's coming. The revolution is coming.
I think you're pushing the panic button.
No, I
Well,
think it's
you're not
Actually,
saying
it's
tomorrow.
not going to. We're in one now.
we are. We're already
You're
divided.
in one now.
There's a big fight.
There is.
There's every
American
in the United States today, and there's going to be people argue it's not left and right. It is 100%. There is something that has divided every American against something. You have groups that are not okay. with Muslims. That is one group. Now I'm not going to go down that road, but there's a group that hey, they're not happy that certain things, Muslim kids are allowed to do certain things in school. Okay, that's true. That's bottom line true.
Christian kids aren't.
And Christian kids can't.
Right.
There's that battle.
Well, that's just a whole religious section right there.
I'm telling you, right? But I'm just saying right there. That's one front.
So you're saying religion is going to be one area, personal freedom is going to be
poverty is going to be one.
Absolutely.
The wealthy,
poor people,
income equality.
Black
exactly.
White.
Exactly. I'm just telling you.
on all fronts.
All fronts. And there's a divide everywhere in this country, no matter who you are.
But I think a lot of people still are going to be able to talk these things out. You're maybe not going to solve them, but I think there's an exchange of ideas. I mean, it isn't the point where everyone's.
But if you've lost friends over this
the word which God knows I can't pronounce it, so I'm probably wrong. But the media exacerbates.
Yes.
The media is driving this train. They're driving this train as hard as they can. They're pushing narratives. They're creating news. They're creating a manipulation between the people. They just flat are. I can show it every single day how they're doing it. Don't want to jump off that, but I do want to move. What's the big deal with Khashoggi? What's your opinion of why Khashoggi's a big deal?
Just what we're talking about. Just what we're talking about.
That's conflict. The faction against Trump.
We should have nothing to do with that. We should have absolutely nothing to do. We can say, isn't that a shame? They need to get there.
Isn't that a shame and move on?
And
exactly.
Get your act together over there. But it's their problem. And I don't want to sound callous, but the door that's opening up, I'll say this again, is if, let's say, someone were assassinated over here or murdered, and they start coming and saying, you've got to prosecute so-and-so, and you've got to prosecute. They're telling us whom we have to prosecute.
And that's the UN telling us how to do that.
Then that's
and you think about
it. Why are they pushing Khashoggi because of Saudi Arabia? When's the last time you've heard Iran on the news?
Exactly.
To divert attention, and Iran is serious.
Well, that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks.
Why is Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia is an issue.
Do you not realize in America they create a villain? Every time we create a villain. Now we created, and I'm not taking up and saying they're good people, but we created Saddam Hussein. We created this villain, and we had
Gaddafi.
We had to go get the villain, right? We created him. Then what? We had to go get him. We had to spend so we created the villain, then we had to go get the villain, and we had to have a hero. Okay, we created the villain with Bin Laden. We created a villain, then we had to go get the villain, right? And
but they helped their own case in both those instances.
I'm not saying they did, but now when I say we created, the media loves to create the villain. Okay,
but it doesn't matter if Trump had said we have to get this. This is a regime because they killed this guy who actually works part-time here in America. Then
he's not a citizen.
It would be the wrong thing to do, irregardless of which way he went. If he went right, if he went left, they're not. It's going to be an issue.
And he's a journalist.
We all know on this couch, Saudi Arabia. We can talk for an hour, okay? But did you notice after Trump becomes president of the United States, Saudi Arabia now becomes a villain? They were not a villain before.
They were a friend.
Right? Now they're a villain, right? Now you hear all the uproar over what we got to do. Don't you wish you would have heard this kind of uproar over Saudi and sanctions after 9/11?
I would have thought that would have been a good
but no, right?
No,
they got a pass early on.
Yeah, they got a big pass.
Now,
And
I will tell you
again, it goes back to some behind-the-door shenanigans.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed. The word is I'm amazed.
And you're not easy to amaze.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm amazed with the power the Clintons have. Amazed with it. I am absolutely amazed.
Disgusting.
And I'm going to tell you what. The media is running cover for them like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Not only the media, I mean the
Department of Justice.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it, but the media's job is to run cover for the public.
And keep it uncovered. Don't investigate.
And start a fire over here so you don't see the blaze over there.
Why are they going after? Why did they go after? They're creating. Why did they go after Ivanka's emails?
Because it was a direct correlation. This was a woman in politics who did the wrong thing with the emails. So it's just the same
Ran
as
cover
Hillary
for
did.
Hillary.
Exactly. It's
All right,
like,
so
but it's
that was
apples
that
and
was
oranges.
that was A, right?
Yeah.
That was A. Wait a minute.
so
Slow down. So let's put the
puny,
pieces
though.
together. We haven't got time. Let's put the pieces together. Run cover, right? For Hillary. What are they going to ask Comey today? They're going to ask Comey today about the way they interrogated Hillary over her server and her private emails, and why she did not go through the grand jury, right? But the Ivanka is to run cover for the emails, right?
Exactly. That's
Emails,
to
right?
negate the problem of the Hillary
Now, wait a minute.
emails.
Slow down.
No, I'm going to run.
Ivanka emails is the cover for Hillary's emails. The media's run with it. Second, Roger Stone pleaded the fifth. Bull. Okay? Roger Stone pleaded the fifth, much like Brian Pagliano and Hillary's people. So when Trump came out and said they have something to hide, they're pleading the fifth, they claim Roger Stone. So they're using Roger Stone. They ran him through a narrative for 2 or 3 days that he's pleading the fifth and will not answer the questions. So that's the second cover. Hillary's people pled the fifth. Trump's people pled the fifth. Hillary had a private server and email. Trump's daughter. Now the last one. Saudi Arabia booked these 500 hotel rooms. Okay? Right? And he did
Lobbyists
business.
for
Right.
not Saudi.
Right.
Directly.
Lobbyists for Saudi Arabia booked these hotel rooms, and they're trying to show Trump's connection to the Saudis, and it was a win-win for him, and he profited off of being president. What is the whistleblower doing with Hillary Clinton? Quick pro quo to being Secretary of State, right?
Right.
Everything is a Hillary run for cover, isn't
Yes,
it?
it
They're
is.
running cover for Hillary, every single thing. Would you agree?
I would
you
agree.
agree?
I would agree.
Every single thing. I'm amazed at the power these people have.
Obviously.
It's astronomical.
It is.
It is astronomical. But I do believe, I've been saying this and then I got discouraged. They're going to get their own.
I hope so.
They're going to get it.
I hope so, because, you know, everything done in the dark will eventually come to the light.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this guy, that these two people that have done the whistleblowing on them, and they have evidence, they had lawyers doing an audit on the Clinton Foundation that said, we can't control Bill. He's mixing personal and private and the charitable contribution
These
stuff
are
all together.
yeah,
they've got that. They've got the evidence on
The
it.
IRS said they need it. There's a problem. The IRS is looking, they're investigating the Clinton Foundation. So what do you have? You have Maryland and you have the District of Columbia wanting to look at Trump's tax returns, the corporate tax returns, to prove that he's profiting from being president of the United States with foreign countries, right?
Yeah, but didn't he set all that up like arm's length with the?
He
you know,
left his businesses when
Donald
he was,
Jr. or something?
Yes, exactly.
So-
But if you had a chalkboard, if you had wait a minute, I'll just say like this
on
because
football, you know, with the X's and O's.
I gotta move to something else because I want to give you guys some time. We got a pet of the week coming in. But if you had a chalkboard and you ran and you put up everything in departments of what Hillary Clinton's really, we have proof that she's in trouble, and you put it up there, you can go with the media right underneath each one and pick the stories that they have run for cover, right? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your subject of the week? Grievance, not grievance? What's your subject of the week? We don't have to do winners and losers, but we got about 8 minutes here. So
well, I'm going to throw it back to you. No, grievances. I don't like, grievances, but
I'm joking.
I just want you to give me an update on the election. Who won?
You and your update on it. Everybody
Well,
won.
you're
went
plugged
out of
into the
town
Georgia
for a
thing.
month.
I was
Who are you
missed it.
asking? Which one?
the
Raffensperger.
runoff like last week. This week.
Raffensperger. The problem I've always had, he's a nice man, I know him, but I have a friend that has the B in the name, Raffensperger.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. So you have to watch because you don't want the B. So it's Raffensperger. So Brad
Sperger.
Raffensperger is the new Secretary of State for Georgia.
And he's a Republican.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
wasn't there a
Public Service Commissioner
yes.
Chuck Eaton
He
is
Republican.
the incumbent? He got reelected.
Yes.
And it was 52-48 kind of.
52-48.
Okay.
Seemed
Great.
like you knew everything you needed to know.
I just want
Why you bothering
confirmation.
me with this?
Whatever, anyway.
He doesn't do anything
It's the
without your good
it's
opinion.
the election in North Carolina. I will say. So since you deferred your 30 seconds, I'm going to use it. It's
I
interesting.
yield to the Festivus.
I gotta I hate to say this because I always get criticized. I got to give it to the Democrats because you don't like when I say this. They have a whole new thing when it comes to elections. Don't concede. Don't say you lost. Have the attorneys ready to file and recount until you win.
Ballot harvesting.
Don't stop until you win. And I'm thinking to myself, are all elections from this point on in life going to take? My prediction is in 2020 you will not know that night who the president of the United States is.
You won't know that year, maybe.
Here's what I think it's
because the Democrats set that up. Go ahead.
A scenario could be, first of all, they're brainwashing the younger generations.
Absolutely.
Totally brainwashing, and they're making them feel like fools if they even. My grandson is a conservative. I mean, he is ostracized at his home sometimes. So they're brainwashing them. That's going to progress. Now, something you said 2 weeks ago, I believe, that really started me thinking, and it was that the businesses are bringing in the liberals into Georgia. The businesses from the east or the west, and then more blues are coming in here. That is blinking scary. And the reason is, if I were the strategic planners for the Dems, that's exactly what I would do. Disperse. Make it an absolute plan to disperse the blues out of these concentrated areas to dilute the red.
Arizona, Austin, Texas.
And they're doing it, and that is terrifying.
Dilute the red. I think you put that right there, quotations. You hit it all. I'm telling you, you hit it all. Dilute the red.
Right.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Candace, what say you?
About this, or do I not?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything.
I have a problem. I read an article this week about Wells Fargo, who a couple of years ago got billions in fines for setting up accounts without people's knowledge that were their clients. They were unable or did not want to help people get loan modifications on their homes, causing them to be foreclosed on. This particular family that the article came out about, he and his wife split up. He and his son were living in a basement because it ruined his credit, and they could not get a regular apartment. They had a sofa and a bed, and that's all they had until he could get back on his feet. Then Wachovia comes back and says, "Oh, you were probably eligible for that. Here's $25,000. That should make it all better." Okay, that doesn't make it all better. When are the people from Wells Fargo going to go to jail? And I don't mean the people in the bank. I'm talking about the higher-ups for this misconduct. Because if I did this kind of thing, it would be called fraud. And what they're doing is fraudulent. And they've been caught at it over and over. Why are they getting a pass? That's my question on that.
I don't have obviously I don't have the answer, but I am going to agree. I don't understand it, and I think you are going right down one of the areas that this country is tired of. Things like that. The two-tier justice system.
Yes,
exactly.
You know, if I do stuff, I'm in trouble. I'm going to jail. If I get a subpoena and I don't show up for court because I really didn't want to go on Tuesday, I thought it'd be nicer to go Friday, the judge is going to say, "Fine, I've got a bench warrant for you," and they'll come and pick me up. You know, Comey's like, "Well, I don't want to do it public. I want to do it private. I don't want to do it private. I want to do it public." When did you get a choice when you get a subpoena? When did that come in? Is there somewhere under that process that says, but if you're not happy with the situation or the conditions, you can change it? Where did that come in?
And then just make the leap over to illegal aliens.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing is, though, that why is it that the committees request information that they legally should have from the DOJ or something?
And
they request it, and they just say, "No, we're not going to give it."
Well, you know, I always hate to break it to you that the star of the show is here, and I understand not to hurt anybody's feelings, but you know, the star of the show just came in, so we have to move along to our pet of the week. Winners and losers.
Winner. Atlanta United playing for the MLS soccer title tomorrow in Atlanta. Going to fill the stadium, so
happy for all of you.
There you go. Loser, the principal at this school that said candy canes are banned because they're shaped like J's, and that stands for Jesus.
And red and green is bad. We can't have that either.
I do have another.
Now I'm angry with you. I'm going to air my grievances with you in a minute because yes.
Did I take your candy cane?
No, you're in trouble.
Okay. But the one other thing is, we're talking about voting before. Did you hear about the situation in Maine where if the person doesn't get 50% plus one, they do a kind of a runoff thing.
Yes.
But how the runoff works is now when people vote, they pick a second, a third, and a fourth choice. Then they go back if two people are below 50%, and the Secretary of State there uses a algorithm, and they reallocate the votes that people put on their ballot for second and third place. And they use this algorithm. The Democrat beat the Republican. The Republican guy was up by 4,000 votes, and they took all the second and third place things and reallocated, and the Democrat won.
I'm going to read that. I will admit on camera I didn't understand any of that, but I think that was the goal,
stupid.
right?
It's a brand new law.
Was that the goal for me not to understand it?
No, it's it's like ballot harvesting.
No, not you, but
gone
the way
amok.
they do it, right?
That's Maine. That's the only state.
Sorry, I rambled.
No, that's okay. You did a great job.
Losers are all the kids who have had teachers tell them Santa Claus doesn't exist at 5, so that they lose all their joy and fun at Christmas, and all the people that won't let candy canes and Jays be part of Christmas, or baby it's cold outside is offensive. Well, that isn't as offensive to me as all the other things that you guys are doing about Christmas. I believe Christmas has Christ in it, and kids are part of Christmas. They need to have their joy, and they're taking away their J's for joy. I don't like that.
And you?
You aren't going to like this.
Okay, I'm just going to go with it. All right, go. You're not. I'm just. Freeze that. Like, I'm going to be using that. When we come up with something during the week, it's going to be called the Janes. You're not going to like this
Ooh,
segment.
That's pretty catchy. I, for one, believe there shouldn't be any Santa in Christmas. If you want to have Santa, have him in July, fine. Get a bunch of gifts, fine. Have it red and green, fine. But as I taught my little kids years ago at the Church of the Apostles, I think Jesus is weeping over Christmas. He's weeping. He's looking down and looking at nothing to do with him, really. Greed, gifts, Santa. I mean, Santa was fun. I believed in Santa. But as I got older, we did our family a little differently. So I don't think anyone should ban a candy cane, green and nothing. But I just wish we'd get more into Christmas is Christ, and that's all it is, the birth of Christ. So on my tree, I had to debate, am I going to have a tree? So on my tree, every ornament signifies all the red is the blood of Christ. The clear ornaments are Christ. Jesus can see right through you. The white is the purity.
Right,
everything has. So I kind of wish we would change all that. Although I don't say ban Santa, ban this, but it makes me sad.
You saying I wouldn't like that, I understand why you said that, but no, I understand what you're saying. No, I understand what you're saying. I really do. I understand what you're saying. But then again, you got to stop and think, if you get into the Santa discussion, and we can leave that alone, it's not Santa. It's what we always take things and turn it into. Okay? We could have kept Christmas years ago where a child got 2 gifts and Santa came down and put 2 gifts, all right?
I remember those days.
No, we turned it into, kids had to get $1,000 worth of stuff, or kids had to get all this stuff.
I didn't want that.
We turned it into that. And when I say we, this country, the commercialism of it. So I know what you're saying, but we always turn something into something, and then we look back and we get upset with what happened.
And you know why we did it?
Why?
So China would become wealthy.
Exactly, buy their garbage. I want to say this. I want to say this and double with them. We have to get to our pet of the week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. But before we go, I want to thank these guys. Rick, I know you had to go do something this morning. You're always here. We appreciate you. I want to thank Bruce, Candace, and Jane for taking their time coming over. There's so many subjects we couldn't cover, but with what both of you said, Donald Trump stood up in Wisconsin and said he would say Merry Christmas when he became president. He says Merry Christmas. We say Merry Christmas. And, the war on Christmas, as we call it, baby, it's cold outside. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer represented bullying. The black child in Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving sat alone on the other side of the table. We didn't realize this till somebody told us that was racist. The candy canes, stand for have a J.
I never turned one upside down.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous out there what is going on. And I hope logic, common sense will prevail. But I want to say something based on some things. This past Monday, I interviewed, and you can find that on our YouTube channel, I interviewed Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia. Congressman Doug Collins will now be the ranking member on the Judiciary Committee in the House. Guess what? I asked him, you can hear that, everything I said, quote, I said, you mean Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Nellie Orr, Bruce Orr, Glenn Simpson, Fusion GPS, McCabe. I run the whole list by this congressman, and I said, in about 4 weeks, that's done. All the work is done. And his comment is, well, we hope that Lindsey Graham over in the Senate takes it up and goes with it. But that's where you're at. All the work that you've done for 2 years in about 3 weeks turns into a cold case file. All right? So I hate to see that, but I will tell you this. Remember, the President of the United States, Gerald, could you please pay attention? Okay. Gerard Nadler will be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Period. He will, no matter what the news says, he will look and use the opposition research from Mueller, and he will look to figure out how he can bring impeachment hearings. They'll start hearings against your President of the United States. When they look at you and lie and say that's not important or at the top of the list, remember Tom Steyer, the billionaire that gave millions of dollars out in Orange County, California, Florida, you go all the way around, Wisconsin. Tom Steyer put millions of dollars, this billionaire, into 2016 elections, or 2018 elections. He's prepared for 2020. He wants the President of the United States impeached. You've got another thing coming if you don't think he's going to put pressure on that House Judiciary Committee and Gerard Nadler to start those proceedings. And guess what? Our defender has to be Congressman Doug Collins. So you start calling his office and say, defend our President of the United States. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. It's time for our Pet of the Week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. Again, thank all of you.